particularly in the collective bargaining negotiations that are going to commence in spring training of next year, because the current CBA, as you probably well know, expires in December 2011. The owners are going to be asked to increase their pension contributions from $157 million to $213 million a year. So that's an extra $53 million that the owners are on the hook for, or at least they're going to be told they're on the hook for if they don't already know that. Why do taxpayers of this country have to help the pension fund anymore? It just boggles the mind.
You know, with somebody like Doug that has brought light to this cause, it's interesting. I'm smiling here on the phone. You know, back in my day, having an agent was like a taboo. Back in then, David, you know that back in the 70s, owners were really totally against that also, because we had somebody, you know, representing us that knew more than sometimes we did about just throwing curves and sliders. They knew the background of the game and came to bat for, so to speak. And I almost feel, talking with Doug here and listening to all the research and the efforts that he's put into this book, that I'm being represented by an agent.
All you got to do is give me some free wings at your great tavern in Spain. That's all I'm looking for from you, my friend.
That's a given when you come to town, so you can count on that.
All righty.
The next question is the fact that this has not really been publicized that well, I guess. Obviously Douglas in the book is really something that's bringing this issue to light, and there have been other articles over the years, but there's not been a big firestorm of publicity about this. Have you done that on purpose, or have you not gotten the support that you would actually have liked this far about this subject?
In a lot of ways, we have kind of laid low. Kind of trying to learn possibly from past mistakes. In some instances, my own personal opinion is we are being too nice at times, but on the other instance, don't necessarily want to blow it out of the water if we have a chance. So, with the way the lawsuit went, there was some publicity about that. We don't want to ruffle feathers for any reason at this time. Although we do have a war plan in place.
When would the war plan take place, and is it a confidential war plan?
Right now, at this point in time, I don't know that we are prepared to reveal that. So it's not that we have necessarily anything to hide, but we are prepared to take it to the next level. And I would have to say, in the not-too-distant future.
Now, is that something that's an alumni association plan, or is that something that you and the group of the surviving members of this group have all kind of put your heads together and talked about?
Well, I guess you would have to say possibly it is an alumni plan, only from the simple fact it will come within the framework of our committee.
Something else and this has been a big issue in the NFL as well, and they've been able to get some pretty big names, former players, and guys like Mike Ditka, for example, who's not only a former player, but I don't know how many Super Bowls did he win with the Bears? Any of you guys football fans?
Well, he won one
with
there.
The Bears, I think he won one.
Yeah, just the one? Okay. And
pro football tight end in the Hall of Fame in Canton. So.
Yes. Now, we talked before we started recording, and David, before you got on the line, we mentioned how you guys had agreed Brooks Robinson would have been a great name, a great sort of famous name, celebrity ball player to try and take your cause to the next level. I wanted to see what you would have hoped for from somebody like that, and what kind of names were you throwing about, and what kind of reaction did you get from those people?
Well, if I could, for a moment, before David and Steve chime in, Brooks Robinson, for the benefit of your listeners, is the president of the board of the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association. Obviously, he's a deity in Baltimore and in Little Rock, Arkansas. where he hails from. Hall of Famer, an incredibly nice, genteel man. But if you don't mind me using this pun, he's dropped the ball. The human vacuum cleaner has dropped the ball on this one. He is not out there advocating as the chairman of the board should. He would be, and Steve talks about this in the book, he would be the perfect poster child, poster boy for this issue. Other men who could have stepped up to the plate, Jim Bunning. Now, Jim Bunning, at the end of this year, will depart from the halls of Congress. He's not running for re-election in the United States Senate. But when he was in the House of Representatives, when he was just starting out after he traded his pitcher's mound for politics, he was the chair of the Standing Committee on Social Security in the House of Representatives. This is a man who, of course, famously threw a perfect game on Father's Day, who's a Hall of Famer for the Philadelphia Phillies. And he has been reluctant to take a stand on this issue. When you've got guys like Brooks Robinson and Jim Bunning, who are reluctant, and I should, in all candor, tell you that the late Robert Roberts, when I tried to contact him, he wanted no part of this issue. Why are people refusing to help out their peers? I've never played the game. All I am is a fan. But I would think that the Brotherhood of Baseball men who've made the hallowed halls of Cooperstown, I would think they'd step up, and they haven't.
If you can answer that question, we would greatly appreciate it, because I have wondered that for years, why Brooks has never taken the banner and run with it. Outside of, and I don't mean this to be ugly, but outside of the fact of, is he just a figurehead president? But there's many other very famous players out there, ex-players, former players, that could step forward and champion our cause. Reason being, you want a big name. It's just like anything, star attraction. The bigger the name, more people are apt to tune in and listen. It's just like anything. If we can turn the tide of public favor, then possibly baseball will do something. And I think in some ways they will, but on the other hand, having been through this many times over the years, whether anything actually gets done or not is anybody's guess.
Are you actively still trying to get anybody to help the cause?
I don't know on that fact. I know that every time we meet, we talk about it. Whether anybody's been approached about it, I'm not real sure. I do know at several golf tournaments, well, not several, but a particular golf tournament recently, a former player was made aware of our plight and said, really? He said, I'd be willing to give up a few $1,000 of my pension to help you guys. So it's rather obvious that the majority of the current players and to some extent former players are not aware that some of their former and fellow teammates are without. What it's going to take to get someone to step forward, I don't know. I wonder what is out there that is stopping someone from jumping on board. They can't take their pension away, I don't believe. Are they afraid of that? Are they afraid that they're going to lose their pension? I don't know. I can understand some of these players' reluctance, possibly even Brooks. I don't know if he is actually employed by the Orioles. If he is, then maybe he's reluctant that he might lose his job over it. Just some of the former players that are maybe aware of our situation, that are in front office positions and maybe in a position to talk to their owners about it, may be reluctant for the fear of losing